Welcome to Pathway 3. In Lesson 10, you will learn from Census Bureau expert Maria Valdecera about how to access 2020 census redistricting data using data.census.gov. Maria will also show you how to customize your tables, create thematic maps, and download data for all available geographies. Data.census.gov offers the most comprehensive method to access and use 2020 census data. Data are offered in a tabular format, but can also be viewed using a map. It allows you to select a variety of geographies for all 2020 census topics as individual tables. So this resource may be helpful if you are looking for a particular topic for specific geographies from the available redistricting data tables.
Hi, I'm Maria Valdecera, and I work for the Dissemination Outreach Branch. Many users may want to access the new redistricting data to view the population and housing counts for their community. To do this, navigate to our site at data.census.gov and click on the Advanced Search button located directly under the single search bar. Once you click on that link, you will see a list of filters on the left side of the screen. To access the redistricting data, click on the Surveys filter and select the Decennial Census option. Then scroll down the list until you see Redistricting Data with PL94-171 in parentheses. Click on the checkbox directly to the left of the survey title. Since we only want the newer tables from 2020, go to the Years filter and select 2020 from the list. Then select the geography you want to view. For this example, I will use the city of Atlanta, Georgia, so I'll click on the Geography filter and then scroll until I see the place geography. So after we select place, we will choose the state that our place is in. Since Atlanta is in Georgia, you will click on Georgia and the page will advance to show all places in Georgia. Since this is quite an extensive list, I recommend using the search bar that is available at the top of the panel. If you click on the magnifying glass icon in the top right corner of the panel labeled Georgia, a search bar will appear and you will be able to search for places within Georgia. If I start typing Atlanta into this search bar, the panel will automatically update to show places in Georgia that match my search term. Then I'll click on the checkbox directly to the left of Atlanta City, Georgia, which should appear at the top of the list. Once those filters are applied, click on the search button located at the bottom right corner of the screen, directly to the right of the Clear Filters button. Tables P1, P2, P3, P4, and P5 contain population data, and Table H1 contains housing data. In this example, I will click on Table P1, Race, to view population data for Atlanta broken down by race for the total population, and then return to the results page and click on Table H1, Occupancy Status, to view the occupied and vacant housing counts for Atlanta. But what if we want to view and download data for smaller geographic areas, such as census blocks? If we want to find redistricting data for all census blocks within a county or state, we can start another search by clicking on the U.S. Census Bureau logo in the upper left corner of the screen and hitting the Advanced Search button. Since census blocks are only available for the decennial census, we will only need to select our geography in this search. For this example, I selected census blocks from Rockingham County, New Hampshire. Like our other searches, you'll click on Geography and then Block. Scroll down the next list of states and select New Hampshire, and then click on Rockingham County, New Hampshire from the county list. Next, you'll select the census tract. For this example, I chose Census Tract 1001 from Rockingham County. The last step is to select the blocks you wish to view. I just selected a few blocks towards the top of the list. Then, click on the Search button. Select any table to view. For this example, I again chose Table P1, Race. To download the table to your computer, click on the Download button on the top left side of the screen above the table list. This action will prompt empty checkboxes to appear beside each table name in the list on the left side of the screen. You can select multiple tables to download at once, but for now, let's just select Table P1. Once that table is selected, scroll up to the Download Selected button at the top of the list and click on it. A pop-up menu will appear confirming that you're downloading the 2020 redistricting data as a CSV file. Once you click the Download button in the lower right corner of the screen, you'll receive a message stating that the site is preparing the files. Once that is done, hit the Download Now button. This will download the .zip file to your download folder on your computer. Once you click on the download folder, you may be prompted to unzip the contents of the .zip file to one of the file folders present on your computer. I want to unzip the files to my downloads folder, so I'm going to click on Yes, unzip the files to downloads. Next, I'm going to navigate to the download folder and open the file that has data with overlays in the naming convention, and select the file to open in Excel. Now that I've clicked on that file and have finished waiting for it to open in Excel, I can see the data available for the census blocks I've selected in the Excel file. You can also find and map PL94-171 data through data.census.gov. Let's say you want to find group quarters data by congressional district in your state. Again, we would click on the U.S. Census Bureau logo and go to the advanced search. Select the survey, Redistricting Data PL94-171 from the decennial census category. Next, let's select congressional districts in Illinois for this example. Through the geography filter, you will select congressional districts and then Illinois as the state. Then select all congressional districts for the 116th Congress in Illinois and click the search button as we did in our previous example searches. For this example, I chose table P5, group quarters by major group quarters type. This is an additional table that was added to the 2020 redistricting data. Once you choose table P5, click on the Maps button that is on the top left side of the screen above the table list. This will show a map that will zoom in on the state of Illinois and display the 116th congressional district boundaries for the state of Illinois. The map will automatically default to show the 2020 PL total group quarters population of each congressional district. To change the data variable that the map is showing, click on the arrow directly to the right of the Total button, which is located on the top left side of the page above the map view. From there, you can scroll down the list and select any of the other variables that are present in the table view within the map. You can also use the search feature directly above the list to find a particular data variable. For example, if I want to find a data variable that contains the word student, I can type student in the search bar and then select the variable total non-institutionalized population college/university student housing. Notice that the map updates with data for the new variable I selected, and the map now shows that congressional districts in darker shades of blue have a higher number of students who are living in college or university housing. With the release of the 2020 redistricting data, you'll also be able to compare data from the 2010 redistricting data as well. To do this, return to the main landing page and then click on the Advanced Search button again. From there, select the Redistricting Data option again through the Survey Filter panel. Next, select the geography you wish to view. For this example, let's choose all counties within the state of Alabama. To do this, go to the Geography filter and select County. Then select the state of Alabama. In the next filter panel, select All Counties within Alabama, which is located at the top of the list, and then click on the search button at the bottom right corner of the screen. There are 5 tables that will appear in the results page that are available for both 2010 and 2020. For this example search, I chose table P3, Race for the population 18 years and over. Once we click on the table, it will automatically default to the most recent 2020 data. To toggle between the 2010 and 2020 data, navigate to the Product drop-down menu located at the top of the screen above the table. When you click on the downward-facing chevron, you have the option of viewing either the 2010 or 2020 redistricting data. When you click on the 2010 option, the table will automatically update to show data from 2010. You can toggle between 2010 and 2020 to compare the data directly and can see the changes in the geographies you've selected. In this final example, let me show you a few features that will allow you to customize PL94-171 data tables in the table view. We will return to the advanced search page once again and select our surveys and years filters. Then, click on the search button and select a table to view. For this example, I chose table P4, Hispanic or Latino, and non-Hispanic or Latino by race for the population 18 years and over. Next, click on the Customize Table button located at the top right corner of the screen above the table. This new view, which is called the Customize Table view, is where you can access a lot of different functionality by clicking on the buttons in the ribbon located above the table. For example, the Customize Table view provides another way to add additional filters to the table. You can select any of the filters that would be present on the advanced search page for the survey, and the table will automatically update to reflect the applied filters. You can also view table notes, which are shown here and can be hidden by clicking on the Notes button again. You can also download or export the table to Excel, print the table, or use the Map button to return to the map view of this table.
We hope that you found this course informative. To be the first to hear about new Census Academy learning content, be sure to sign up for email updates, follow us on social media, and go to census.gov/academy.